I asked the world to pray for my sister. She was imprisoned for smoking, I think, like a 1 pound marijuana cigarette. It wasn't even for a Jesuit crime. And she was attacked by some lesbian prisoners that were there in the prison with her. She was asked to be another female prisoner's bitch. And at first she was scared and said yes. But then the female prisoner requested her to do what bitches do. And she realized that the female prisoner's vagina smelled really bad. And she said no. She's lost a lot of blood. She was stabbed several times with I think they call it a shank. Yeah, they stabbed her with a shank. That's like a toothbrush that they sharpen and make it into a sort of like a knife. And these were not Jesuit prisoners. These were just regular women prison inmates. And you may say, well, why was she smoking a 1 pound marijuana cigarette? That's a dumb thing to do. She is best friends forever with Laurie McBride. And I believe she was smoking it with Laurie McBride. I asked my men, take my sister out of this. This is horrible. And what's really bad, she got stabbed, I think, up her vagina, up her butthole, in her guts, I think once on each breast, and the worst part is one of her eyes got stabbed out. And I don't know if we can fix that. I do not believe that my sister's a born-again Christian, even though she goes to church, because I don't believe that a true born-again Christian would ever be best friends forever with Laurie McBride. So for that reason, I don't think my sister is a born-again Christian. So while you're praying for her physical healing, also pray for her spiritual healing. Perhaps if she'll admit to the Lord that she's a sinner and that she can only get to heaven through his death on the cross and not through any good works that she does, not by going to church or trying to belong to a church, whether it's the Roman Catholic Church or whatever church. Maybe she'll get saved and maybe the Lord will do a miraculous healing on her. That would be awesome. So just pray for her because she might need a miraculous healing. From Terence said he looked at the pictures of her in prison. It looks like she put up a good fight. The women all ganged up on her in the shower and they started sticking a bar of soap. Well, first of all, it started during lunch. She has her own cell, but she went to eat lunch with the prisoners and she refused to give one of the other female prisoners her chocolate pudding, and it started there. And the next time when they all took showers together, they have like a group shower in prison, they all ganged up on her in the shower and started sticking the bar of soap up her vagina, forcing her head down onto the vagina of another female prisoner and forcing her to make oral sex on this woman by putting her mouth right on that woman's vagina. And then in an act of defiance, my sister bit off that woman's clitoris. And then I guess it got rough after that. She's in the prison hospital, but I asked my men to go over there and pick her up as soon as possible. And Brent Spiner, who's a doctor, and I believe some other of my men who are doctors, maybe like Gerard Butler's a doctor, they're going to go and Judge Terence Jenkins had to leave because he's a judge, and we needed a judge to get the order to release her from that prison to transfer her to a prison at Church, or like a brig at Church of Gail. We're going to try to set up a special prison for her at Church of Gail where she can't get hurt. Even though she hasn't been perfect towards me. You say, why is she best friends forever with Laurie McBride? Well, she did it, according to my men, they use their mind reading technology. She did it because she was jealous of me because of all these men that love me and want to marry me. So she was jealous and became friends with Laurie for that reason. Which, I'm really sad that she made this decision to do this. And I certainly did not wish for her to be harmed like this in prison. In fact, I was horrified when I heard that she had been attacked like this, especially that they stabbed her in the eye. That's a very serious injury. She lost a lot of blood, and so they had to get her stable. I'm sure she's going to get a blood transfusion. Unfortunately, attacks like this are commonplace in prison. Most women in prison are raped by the other women, and they attacked her in the shower. and all the prisoners take showers together. And while it was all soapy and slippery, this happens a lot, according to Terrance. He's a judge in prison, that when it's soapy and slippery, they'll attack the victim, and they like attacking somebody who's new. They call that fresh fish because I don't know, it's just evil, these women prisoners. So they shove the soap in the victim's vagina and then force them to lick all of their vaginas. This is a commonplace practice in prison. So I said, please get my sister out of that jail, and where she can take her own shower, away from other prisoners, and can be away from dangerous people. And I asked if they could imprison her at Church of Gail, and they're going to be working on that. They're going to probably create a prison for her there so that she'll be safe. Pray for her recovery, and pray that she'll find the Lord. You may say, how can you be so different from your sister? I don't know. I never would have made the choice she made to become best friends forever with Laurie McBride, so I don't know, okay? And even though my sister's not perfect, I certainly would not wish injuries like this upon her. Like I said, they stabbed her multiple times, once in each breast, and she was imprisoned about 2 days ago. The worst part is the eyeball injury. I'm concerned about that. That's such a serious injury that maybe the only way she'll get her eye back is if she turns her life over to Jesus and Jesus does a miraculous healing on her, which he can do. That may be her only solution. Pray that she will do that. I don't believe my sister's a born-again Christian. Like I said, I don't see how anybody can be a born-again Christian and be best friends forever with Jesuit Laurie McBride. Like I said, it all started when she refused to give a fellow woman prisoner her chocolate pudding, and then they all decided to gang up on her in the shower. So Terrance Jenkins left to go retrieve her in his space pod, and Brent Spiner's on that space pod because Brent's a doctor, and he's going to try to help my sister. And we got to bring her out of there. We don't want her to be injured like this. This is not good. I said, please go out there in a space pod, get her as soon as possible, have a doctor and medical teams on your space pod, and bring her to Church of Gail and have her imprisoned at Church of Gail where it's safer for her. And I just hope that she's going to be okay. And I said, Terrance, tell her that I'm really sorry this happened to her, and I hope she makes a full recovery. A shank to the eye is a really horrible injury. She wasn't even in prison for a Jesuit crime. So Brent went out there. I will let you all know later what her outcome is. So just pray for her. Number one, pray that she'll find the Lord. I believe if she was like I said, I believe if she was a born-again Christian, she wouldn't have done this. Maybe I'm wrong, because born-again Christians can do terrible things. They can even commit murder. She was smoking a 1-pound joint of marijuana with Laurie McBride when she got arrested. It was a very large marijuana cigarette, and my heart goes out to my sister, who was arrested for smoking a 1-pound joint of marijuana. You say, well, why didn't Laurie McBride get arrested? That's because Laurie McBride has a legal medical license to smoke marijuana for stress, I think. That's what Terrance told me. So you say, why is she best friends forever with Laurie McBride? She's jealous of me. That's what my men tell me. Because all these men, all these hot guys like me, so she's jealous. And so she's been trying to help out Laurie McBride. I guess to sabotage my relationships with my men, like Brent Spiner and Vladimir Putin and all the men that are on my marriage list. Even though my sister hasn't been perfect, I certainly would not have wished this on her. So pray for her recovery. Yeah, Laurie McBride didn't get arrested because she has a medical marijuana license. A Jesuit doctor said that Laurie McBride needed marijuana smoking for her stress. If that's the case, then Brent Spiner probably needs to smoke all sorts of marijuana because Laurie McBride sure has been stressing him out. But then Brent now has Jesus to deal with his stress. Okay, pray for my sister. And also pray that she'll wisen up. As you can see, it's not helping her out too much.
See if I can get this. see if I can get this this video, this